Hello and welcome to the fourth part of What If Naruto had Julius's powers. I hope you will enjoy. This is the episode where Naruto goes crazy, a little bit crazy. He's gonna be hunting down a certain member. You know who it is. It has to be the big honcho, at least for now. And a bunch of crazy fights are gonna happen. I hope you will enjoy them. And tell me down in the comments what you think I could have done better. But this is the second to last part, so enjoy all you can. Bring out a bunch of stuff you want. If you want to drink during this, you want to eat, do some chores, do some dishes. I usually listen to videos like this doing dishes. Just enjoy yourself and like, because you have no other choice. There is no more dislike button. And yeah, without any further ado, let's begin with the recap. The last part began with Naruto showing Kakashi, Tsunade, and Sakura what he had gotten, a miraculous scroll holding seals and the jutsus and many other abilities that he can do. It automatically transferred to him, is connected. After this, the next day Team 7 went to Tsunade's office for a mission and ended up saving Gaara instead because news spread of the Akatsuki striking at Amegakure. They head there. Naruto rewinds Kankuro's injuries as he stupidly blurts out that he can control time to the Sand Ninja present in the room, and as he healed Kankuro, Sakura also took some poison from him that he had gotten, infused with to make an antidote just in case. They then head out for the Akatsuki and get some help from Kankuro, who took a piece of cloth off of Sasori. And on their way, Chiyo joins them and they meet Itachi and Kisame along with Naruto dealing with them quickly. And then they reach the Akatsuki hideout and are attacked by a three-headed dog, but notice its eyes have the Rinnegan, and so a Rinnegan user is present. Naruto, however, would freeze and put away this creature before then going on to freeze Deidara and Sasori, and he and everyone that got to see the pains, and while telling them to stop hurting Gaara, Naruto reverses the beast stealing process and brings him back, so he has Shukaku again. The Geto statue would leave and Naruto declares war on the Akatsuki basically, and he would then help Gaara by keeping Shukaku from interfering with them. And with this, Gaara eventually wakes up thanks to Naruto, and the arc comes to an end, with the Akatsuki members then being captured, and the team gets a little break, allowing Naruto to hang out with Hinata and stuff like that. When the break ends, however, Sai is put on T7 along with Yamato. However, Naruto says he does not need Yamato and tells the council themselves that he will freeze him in time if they try to make him join. This has them back off, and Team 7 heads out for Orochimaru. Before this, though, Naruto took time to rewind the seal on Sai that sealed his emotions, so Sai starts to exhibit more emotional little outbursts, as small as they may be. Naruto even hints at the fact that he might have done something to him just to mess around, but he can't really do much about it and has to just go along with it, and they continue on their journey and find Orochimaru's hideout, where Naruto reveals he can actually track the Sannin the entire time. The only reason he kept the info is because it's kind of not accurate. Luckily, though, they do get to where they need to, and Naruto finds both Orochimaru and Sasuke, but Sasuke would escape, and Naruto lets him and captures Orochimaru while he tries to fend for himself. And then meets up with his team again, and he says he is aware of the consequences of letting Naruto go, but he is completely fine with it. We will actually begin this part with Gaara. For the first time in years, as Tamari walks into his room, she finds him drooling as he snores, and it would be heard throughout their entire house. Instead of waking him up, however, Tamari just tucks him in, saying, "I don't think I've ever seen him like this before, only that he snores so loud." She walks to the door and quietly lets herself out as she closes the door behind her, and she sighs with relief before then going about her way to tell Kankuro that Gaara was sleeping in. And walking up to meet her, Kankuro would say, "That seal's the real deal, huh? I can even hear him from here. I thought he was a snorer, Right?" says Tamari. We then cut to Konoha as old Hiruzen will be spending another time, another day, retired, walking through the streets, receiving hellos and giving them back. And as he does, though, running up to him would be Ebisu. "Lord Third, we talked about this." "Yes, I know, I just can't imagine myself calling you anything else," said Ebisu. Hiruzen then said that's okay, asking what's wrong, and he said the elders have called for him, but more specifically Danzo, and just hearing the name, Hiruzen would scowl. "Lead the way." Ebisu would nod, saying to follow him, and they walk towards the Hokage building, and when they go there, they reach the lower levels, and as he enters the room, he finds Danzo, Inoichi, Shikaku, and Tsunade present, with Orochimaru being locked up in a chair and a straitjacket. "Long time no see, sensei." Ebisu would then excuse himself as Hiruzen steps in with the door closing behind him, and he would ask, "So, how would you call an old man like me out of retirement?" "Well, Lord Danzo wanted to discuss Naruto and his needless break of protocol," said Shikaku. "And where is Naruto?" asked Hiruzen. Tsunade would say he said he was gonna go hunt the Akatsuki alone. Hiruzen would then sigh, saying he didn't tell you he was leaving, did he? As she shakes her head, Hiruzen would then say this shouldn't be that big of a deal though. Put him in a sealed room as punishment when he comes back. "And what about after? What if he does so again? He keeps disrespecting the rules," said Danzo. "You asked for my opinion." Danzo would then say, "We'll talk about this later. Orochimaru has something to ask of you." And Hiruzen can tell Danzo was enjoying him being out of power because he would never have just, diverted the conversation like that before. It's disrespectful. Everyone notices this, but tries to put it aside as Inoichi asks why Orochimaru wanted to see Hiruzen. "That boy, Naruto, I want his power," said Orochimaru. And what will telling me accomplish? Asked Ryuzen. Me and Princess Tsunade are not exactly on the best terms, said Orochimaru. Tsunade, however, says I'm the Hokage. He has given me the position. That doesn't matter to me. I will join you. All of Konoha if you let me meet him again. Shocked by this proposal, they obviously asked why he would, but he says that he will reveal after, he meets Naruto again. I know you're all aware, but without him, if this seal breaks, I will wreak havoc. Tsunade then sighs and calls an ambush as one would appear before her, and she says, you're not going anywhere, I know that seal. Unless Naruto dies, which is very unlikely, you can't even move your chakra, much less your body. But only he can put up with your crap, so sure. Send a message to the Warlock. As she says this, we find Naruto as he walks to a new village, and he finds himself in a quite disturbing weather, and using the chakra he felt when he stopped Gaara's extraction, he be led to the rain village, and with a smile, he enters the streets and walks the streets of Amegakure. The rain poured and poured non-stop, with the only thing that was keeping him at bay being his cloak. This chakra. It's his, said Naruto. Inside Pain's tower, however, Yahiko and Konan both would feel the chakra of Naruto, who has just entered the premises, and walking forward, Naruto would soon reach the bridge, and he would enter Pain's tower, uninterrupted at all. He would then let down his hood and his cloak as he forms his chronospheres at his side, saying, don't hide, I can sense you. There. Pointing to a pillar, he shatters it with the ray as from behind it come a swarm of papers that turn to kunai. And these kunai come at Naruto, but moving fast with his orbs at his side, he runs and just dodges, and he runs up some stairs, sensing the chakra of Konan. Speeding himself up, he appears at the top of the staircase, and runs down the hall until he comes to a stop, and what he saw before him was nothing but a giant pitfall. But across from him was not Yahiko Pain, but a new Pain, and Konan was hiding down the hallway that was on the other side. Why have you come to our sacred land? Asked the Pain. I'm on the hunt. Why wait for you to attack when I can just do it on my own? At least to me, that sounds more fun. He throws his spear at the Pain, but using his Rinnegan, he dodges to the side, and he would then leap off the platform. From behind him then forms a paper bird from behind Konan, and the Pain would then ride on it before then summoning a giant centipede that begins to hurl its long body towards Naruto. But clapping his hands together, he calls for the art of the raging lion mane. His hair grows and takes the shape of a gigantic claw that would just grab onto and claw through the creature. In the same instance, a clone net appeared by Nagato as he punches his head off with increased strength, and Naruto actually doesn't fall after, he actually jumps off the platform, and he actually begins to fly. Yeah, I don't know why I messed that part up. All those years of training, Naruto thought. They taught me something. I use chakra and nature energy. Not separately, but together. So I came up with a new name, Mana. His clone after killing the Pain would then poof with Naruto's hair then retracting back as he would then leap into the sky and fly towards the other platform, and as he quickly lands, he would run past Konan, trapping her as she tries to get away. With this, Naruto ends up in an open area soon, with him instantly putting himself in a chronosphere to block an almighty push, and from outside Pain's tower, an explosion would occur, catching the attention of the villagers, but yet they try to act like they saw nothing and just figured that their lord was having a field day. They would then see another explosion go off as Naruto had expanded his chronosphere, pushing and crushing the Yahiko Pain that had just attacked him, and he would float up and close his eyes as he would start to just grow yellow marks around his eyes, while also flowing out the rest to his face, and a blue star forms at his forehead as he opens up his eyes, and they will be all blue and star-like. Time sage, said Naruto, as he blasts forward, and he is then pulled towards something as he actually tries to attack, and even sees a gigantic drill going to pierce him. Displacing himself from time, however, he appears behind the Ashra of Pain, who had just done this, and he would crush his head with a light punch. Quickly, he flew just forward, bouncing through the air, until he came face to face with Nagato, a fully healed Nagato, who raises his hand into the sky, and Naruto feels a massive pulling force take him upward as he would crash through many roofs and levels of the tower. When he exited, he then saw a gathering of massive rubble from the tower onto a black sphere, but easily, however, he throws a blast that hits the sphere and causes it to shatter. As such, the gravitational force begins to lessen, so the rubble begins to fall down. But little by little, though, the rubble are caught by chronospheres, and all the citizens of Amegakure watch in shock, because this must mean that the Warlock was here, as only his jutsus had those symbolic writings on his orbs, and they would say, "Everyone go, we must help." The ninja forge into the tower as quickly they try to help. Meanwhile, Naruto comes to land in front of Nagato, who was tired, and he would ask, "Are you done? No more attacks? Why can't you understand that this is needed? If we all knew Pain, we would all be united. And if we have no Pain, we'll be even more united," Naruto states. Nagato then calls this dream of his a naive one, and calling Naruto a simple dreamer, but Naruto would say that he's a dreamer with ambition. Exiting stage mode, he grabs something from his pouch and shows it to Nagato, who would say, "That book? Jiraiya Sensei. He told me about you. A lot, actually. The Child of Prophecy. Some pretty heavy stuff, but this is only gonna make things more bad than good. This, Fairy Sage's dream, I'm gonna fulfill it. What are you gonna do?" You think you can just solve everything with power? Asked Nagato. To this, Naruto reaches out his hand saying, no, that's what I have friends for. That's what I have bonds for. Power is just an added bonus, so come with me. Nagato is almost reminded of his past self by the current Naruto standing in front of him, and he wants to grab his hand, put his trust in him like he had done with Jiraiya all those years ago, but he stops himself. I've strayed too far. This doesn't mean you can't help, said Naruto. And Nagato says he says that he knows, but he would then reach his hand into his eyes and actually, much to Naruto's shock, rip them out. He ripped out his Rinnegan, and quickly Naruto catches him while he drops the eyes to the floor, focusing time on the eyes and the sockets, and he would then regrow them back in an instant, as Nagato would say, what? How? His eyes were not Rinnegan anymore, but they were just normal, and Naruto would say, I rewinded your time. Nagato now realized why he was never going to win, and pointing to the eyes, he said to take them. I want to see you accomplish your goal. After I'm done, and after I'm gone. Slowly, his body begins to shrivel up, but when Naruto goes to heal him, he holds his hand and shakes his head. I know this is the coward's way out, but please. Are you sure about this? There are many options. I can control time. There's a lot I can do. Nagato would laugh, saying, could you make it so that none of this ever happened? With a distraught look, Naruto shakes his head, but Nagato says he's just joking. And looking to the eyes, Naruto envelops them with orbs and floats them over, as he would clean them of any grime they had before they had been tainted. Had someone else gotten the chance to do this, I wouldn't even be laughing or talking, so thank you for coming at least. Naruto takes a moment before then exploding with power, and above the entire Rain village, a giant clock shows itself as it begins to rewind, just as the shinobi then reach the top of the tower, and one of them sneaks attacks Naruto from behind, only to freeze before then going backwards in time. Everything rewinds itself except the destroyed panes, but in the process, Naruto returns the shinobi back to where they began, with their memories becoming completely wiped, and the clock disappears as Nagato dies in his arms. While he does, Konoha then makes an entrance, running in, breaking down when she sees Nagato. Her rising rage then causes her to barrage Naruto with paper daggers, but they are frozen, as is she, with Naruto then asking how much she cared about Nagato. How? How did you even get here? How? I didn't sense you. She even sees Nagato's Rinnegan in Naruto's hand and slowly dropping him to the ground, Nagato to the ground. Naruto says that they will meet again before disappearing in a flash, and Konan is set free, allowing her to stop her attack before they can hit Naruto because the time still continues, but her tears continue to flow while she falls to her knees. This pain is too much to take, but she now had no one else to bear it with. Naruto, meanwhile, would be seen flying over a large area while the rain began to stop, and his eyes, however, begin to actually be warped, only for Naruto to shatter and break this dimension warping, and already in front of him would be a hand, but he stays unfazed while covering his hand with a chronosphere, as he would then slam a punch into the stomach of Obito. He touched me? Thought Obito, and disappearing, Naruto appears behind Obito, who is caught in chronostasis, and his mask shatters to pieces. Naruto slowly turns him around to see the scarred man, who he does not recognize, but he inquires about him, allowing him to speak. Man, Kakashi got his hands on a good one, he would say. You know Kakashi-sensei? Seriously, what is with you people? Join me, Naruto, said Obito. Our goals are the same. I just want to bring peace. By killing people? Yeah, we're going to Konoha. Obito goes to oppose to this, but his words are muffled by time because he gets frozen again, and Naruto will get back to flying, and for a moment his left eye gleams, taking on the form of the Rinnegan before returning to normal. Naruto had gained an even bigger burden than he thought possible, but he was going to follow through. He had to. Y'all know what happened. But the trapping of Obito does not go unnoticed by Madara, who has already gained a body courtesy of Orochimaru getting in contact with the Akatsuki. And sitting in his chair, he summons the Geto statue as he takes in the spirit of Matatabi, Isobu, Saiken, Kokuo, Sangoku, and Chome, the beasts that had already been taken by the Akatsuki when Naruto went on his journey. It seems I need to pay the cloud a visit. In the walks Kakuzu, Hidan, Itachi, Hisame, who prostrate themselves before the relic. If you have something to say, then say so, said Madara. We have new members joining, said Itachi. They came to make themselves known to you. From behind then walk in Sasuke, Suigetsu, Jugo, and Karin, as Sasuke's Sharingan was burning with passion and anger that even made Madara a little bit impressed. He then stands. If you want to prove yourselves, go capture the Eight Tails. I assume you know where he is? With heavy breath and fear, the group would nod as they cannot believe who they are in the presence of. He shouldn't even be alive, yet he was standing right before them like he never left. I'll be paying a visit to Konoha. You can join me if you wish. He struts past them as they would stand and follow him, being afraid not to because they don't know if he's going to kill them if they don't follow. And along the way, the two Uchiha siblings lock eyes, understanding one thing, that one day they will die and the other will survive. One of them is going to have to die. One of them is going to die. Naruto, meanwhile, as he flies towards Konoha, starts to hear a voice, that of the fox. You better hurry up. Naruto's surprised he's talking because he hasn't talked to him at all for years, and he asks what brought on this, little advice. Listen, human brat, there is someone at your village, someone I don't wish to ever meet again. Naruto cannot believe that he's talking to the prideful fox, the same fox that would just always do whatever it wanted and say whatever it wanted, and he actually sounded scared, even terrified, so Naruto would speed up. This is wasting a lot of time. In worst case scenario, I'm gonna have to rely on the eye, said Naruto. Breaking the sound barrier, he goes past hypersonic and reaches the speed of sound, the speed of light, making him appear right atop the Hokage monument, and instantly his connection to the ghetto statue alerts him to the center of the village, just as an explosion of roots and vines and trees toppled the homes of Konoha. These roots would reach and entrap some citizens, as well as shinobi, who begin to struggle to get free, and Madara breathes in and yells, "Where's Naruto Uzumaki? Give me the fox!" His demand is heard by Naruto, who appears right in front of him, punching him across the face, but Madara easily counters with a hit to his stomach, sending them both flying back opposite sides of the village, with Naruto slamming into the head of Minato. Jesus, he's strong. He lifted out of the dent and he made his way back as he flies to Madara, who does the same, and he will run up using his forest to be tackled to and flown into the air. He was trying to walk on the platform, and he'd be tackled into the air by Naruto, who instantly makes a chronosphere around him, but his senses are fast enough for him to substitute himself out. No one's been able to do that for a while now. Who is this guy? Thought Naruto. He actually doesn't recognize who Madara is, obviously. As he turns, Madara would then form a Susanoo as he strikes down with the giant swords, but Naruto would avoid it and he would fly around to the side surrounding him as he blasts the creature with the ray. Instantly, Madara leaves it just as it is entrapped in a chronostasis orb and is dream of what time it had. How are you doing such a thing? You even flight, huh? Madara said. Are you with the Akatsuki? Asked Naruto. He blitzes and punches him across the face, cratering him into a nearby forest, before then chasing him down, and on the way he would have to dodge sharpened roots aimed at him until he landed down, but that alone used a lot of time. He lands on his grab from below as he's then slammed down, while Madara rises from the ground after using the headhunter jutsu, whatever it's called, and he punches down at Naruto, who barely dodges, causing a crack, but Rui then kicks Madara in the stomach. He launches him into the sky, and Madara feels like he's fighting Hashirama all over again, minus this bizarre jutsu. Inside the village, Tsunade gathers all the personnel and tells every ninja to help those trapped, of course the citizens, and with a nod they flicker away while Tsunade leaps towards the forest and Hiruzen appears beside her. That voice, said Hiruzen. That shouldn't even be possible, right? Asked Tsunade. You think it's really him? As she asked this question, a massive shockwave halts them in their tracks as Naruto would have just created a chronosphere which blocks Madara's almighty push. And with the heavy breath, Naruto now sees the man had the Rinnegan. He has it too? Kurama then speaks in his head as we would then see him clap his hands together. Look, I'm gonna do you a favor and give you some help. Naruto starts to feel a natural gathering of nature energy, allowing him to dodge a fast attack from Hashirama as he enters sage mode. And he grabs him by the throat and slams him to the ground. He coughs up blood and Naruto starts to gather mana as his scroll would form and it would shine, showing him a new jutsu which inscribes itself in his mind. Mana Zone. Time Saber. He forms and stabs a yellow gleaming sword made of mana into the stomach of Madara, who screams before then being shocked as he would shatter to pieces. He beat him, and without the use of that, said Kurama. However, the spell leaves Naruto exhausted as he starts to fall back when he's then caught by Jiraiya. You just beat the second strongest shinobi. How do you feel? Wait, what? Can I know who? He would then lose consciousness, bringing his scroll to fade for now. And this is when Jiraiya said, yeah, you can know who he is later. And then Tsunade and Hiruzen arrive, as Tsunade would ask, where is he? The kid shattered him. Literally, Jiraiya says. And as the two stare blankly, they realize that they shouldn't be that surprised to begin with, but the fight isn't over. There were still a lot of people hurt, and the Akatsuki, however, didn't care. Obito, who had regained control of his body because Naruto left him back to go attack Orochimaru and the chronosphere was gone because Naruto exhausted so much energy, gathered everyone up and set to attack. However, they heard the voice of Naruto, and as he rises into the air, he points his hand to them. Retreat now. Kid, you look kind of worn out. I say we attack him right now. There's no fighting Madara and coming out unhurt, Seki-same. He then agrees, saying they would just make him a great sacrifice for Lord Jashin, only to be pierced by an elongated time saber, leaving all the Akatsuki shocked. Naruto then drags the saber to the left as Obito, Kisame, and Itachi barely dodge, but Kakuzu is shattered along with the ninja who should be undead. Naruto stops the attack while clearly tired as he says, leave now. One way or another, I will kill you if you don't leave my village alone. With this mana being lost, he loses control over his transformation, letting one of his Rinnegan be shown as he leave them horrified, but Konoha, seeing Naruto stand up for them, would cheer as he would drive back their enemies. Obito uses his eye to start warping away along with Kisame and Itachi. Watch your back. When he is fully gone, Naruto breathes a sigh of relief as he begins to descend, and in that moment, he never looked more spectacular. He would land and heal his injuries, and he begins to, breathe a sigh of relief, but everyone starts to stare at him. What? Her Rinnegan showing to Oscarama, and embarrassed, Naruto hides the eye, but the villagers just gather thanking him, and he ends up being thrown into the air again and again. Whoa, you guys are way too excited about this, Naruto says, as he's then caught and thrown back into the air, and he wonders how the council will react to this, but then he realizes that he should just enjoy the moment because he has taken another step towards his dream. After this, Naruto would also reverse time and give the village its natural look back with a massive spell, but this leaves him massively exhausted, so he has to, charge that for a while, but his mana is recharging itself naturally, so he's getting better already. As such, he's then called by Tsunade to not just talk with her, but with the feudal lord and the elders and everybody, because he has showed the eyes of God. As he stands in front of the adults, he's asked by the feudal lord to explain. How did you get that, Naruto? Naruto, having his Rinnegan exposed, says, I took it? Took it, asks Danzo. Naruto says, yeah, just like you, but I was given permission. Danzo, realizing Naruto had the Rinnegan, now meant that his perception was so enhanced that he could definitely see what he was hiding under his bandages. Everyone gives a glance to the elder as he would look back to Naruto, and the feudal lord would then ask, can you elaborate on that? What do you mean? Naruto would then point to Danzo's arm as he becomes encased in a chronosphere, which shatters everything covering his arms, and Tsunade, who was sitting by him, becomes so repulsed that she falls out of her seat, and she then stands with the shock as Danzo had just, had a whole arm filled with Sharingan. It was disgusting, and Danzo goes to use a fire jutsu, but the chronosphere would expand and trap him completely. I think you guys should be filling me in on something too. Tsunade then gets back up and inspects the arm, saying that it was something surgically done with a very, very competent person. Naruto, feeling Orochimaru's chakra around the arm, points it out, and he says that it must have been involving the Sannin. Hisashi would then ask, how did we miss this whole time? And Naruto would get a little bit mad, saying, look at him. Does he look trustworthy in any way? And did you even have a report of him being hurt in battle? Look! He shatters the bandages around his eye to reveal another Sharingan, only plunging them more into despair. And Naruto would say, I can't rewind time for the dead, so you're gonna have to deal with everything that comes with this. I could just kill him now if you want. We have Orochimaru, so we can just get everything else from him, all the information. Tsunade, however, will say no, keep him alive. Matter of fact, you need to talk to Orochimaru later. He apparently wants you for something. He wants immortality, I'm the one who can give it to him. Yeah, sure. Give me a moment, says Naruto. As he would then clap his hands together, and as the sphere would poof, it appears right beside Orochimaru while he sits strapped down, and he would say, looks like we both got caught, huh? I can't believe this is happening to me, thought Danzo. Back to the meeting, Naruto would explain that he took the eyes from Nagato and he put it himself. He said, he wanted to carry on through me. Only granted Tsunade knows this, but Pain is Nagato. Nagato is Jiraiya's old student. You recognize who he is, right? This leaves them dumbfounded as Tsunade was standing, saying, those 3 little kids. Yeah, not anymore. Only Konan and Nagato live. Yahiko was used as a puppet. He was dead before I even dispatched them. Tsunade becomes more saddened at the news as she sits down and asks about what the other eye is. Naruto summons his scroll and unseals it out of there as he would then hold it out in front of everyone in a chronosphere. It's really them. The eyes, said Choza. Yep, by the way, if you want this, I would say yes, but it has a special meaning. Even if I take out this one, I will not be giving either of them to you. At least, yeah, not to you, says Naruto. You can keep the eye, says the feudal lord. I think it's fair enough to say that you've been doing everything that you can for this village, despite what it has done to you. I don't think anyone here really minds. We simply want to know of the origins. Naruto says thank you, and puts away the eye, saying regardless, clearly Madara has come here to make a sort of statement, and whatever jutsu was used, if possible, it could make an undead army. He could be facing some of the strongest shinobi that I've ever lived. He was brought back in his full form from what we saw. Then that means that maybe a piece of him was lying around for this process, says Shikaku. That's one of the other nations, Tsunade says. A summit, huh? I guess we should start preparing right now, Ichi said, and this is when they all thought that a war may soon occur. We then cut to a few hours later as Naruto will be walking the streets and he's met by a girl who hands him a gift basket. But please take it as a gift. Grabbing a hold of it, Naruto smiles, thanking her as she blushes and runs off, and Naruto continues to walk when he starts to feel an ominous kind of presence and slowly turns to see a whole group of girls with gifts in hand. Cut to a few minutes later, and Hinata will be training when she feels Naruto's presence and turns to say hi, but she sees that he looks tired and is holding a lot of gifts, like a lot, and she was worried, so she ran over, asking, what happened? Girls happen. I didn't say anything weird to them, so don't worry. A little help? And Hinata would then help him put down the stuff, and she would then ask, so, where did you get the eye? Naruto says he got it from someone in Akatsuki, as Hinata says, we're going to war, aren't we? Seems like it. Madara Uchiha had to show up at our doorstep. I mean, we're really gonna win, so there's no point in being worried, though. Hinata would then chuckle, saying that she worked hard so they wouldn't lose, and Naruto would say the same. In the next 2 days, a Kage summit will be called. Meanwhile, Naruto will be set to watch the feudal lords come to an agreement, and the Rinnegan is also kept with Naruto in fear of the Akatsuki coming back to steal it and attacking them again. And in this timeline, Obito still declares war but leaves immediately, so now the war was officially on, and Obito proceeds to use the leftover cells he still had from Madara to make a Zetsu army in secret, while using the reanimation jutsu he stole to bring back the dead Jinchuriki they had. While he was in contact with the Orochimaru, he still stole the jutsu. He didn't actually ask for it. But then Naruto actually had to go meet Orochimaru after. He enters the room and finds the Sannin present and just waiting for him. "Took you long enough," said Orochimaru. "Yeah, not exactly in the mood. Hurry this up. Oh, you want to join the Leaf?" "I'm technically not. I simply work under you. I will only work under you." "So you lie," said Naruto. "Typical, but the choice was given to me. Granny doesn't really want me to do anything stupid, so before I do anything at all, I will have to ask, did you give anything to the Akatsuki?" "No, but I noticed a certain jutsu of mine was taken. The same I used to escape you the second time we met." Hearing this, Naruto would quickly deactivate the time lock as he would come and strap him. "Tell us everything. Granny's waiting." Orochimaru then stands and cracks his neck, saying, "Funny how even after all that time I was frozen, I still feel sore." He would then be brought towards Tsunade under Naruto's watch, of course, and he explains the reanimation jutsu, which leaves her horrified. "That's how you were going to bring them back. I chose right not to trust you. Had I had that jutsu, Naruto wouldn't have gotten me, but yes," says Orochimaru. "As we speak, that man is garnering an entire army of undead soldiers. Is this enough to win your trust?" "Of course not," says Tsunade. "You'll be staying with Naruto. He will use you for intel, and when the war is over, we'll know if you're trustworthy." "Fine," said Orochimaru. With this, the plans are put underway for the war, with the same commanders being put in place for the counterattack. Naruto's having the Rinnegan, so this would spread, reaching Sasuke, who becomes unnerved when he learns of it. By this point, he had already gathered his team, all of that, everything's going well, and he would be moving towards his goal, but he is nowhere near strong enough to fight Naruto anymore. He has beaten Itachi by this point already, but his best bet would be to steal the Rinnegan as well to get an extra power up. But he also had gotten he learned the truth. Yeah, Sasuke's already in revenge mode. Point is, you get what everything happened in the span of those days. He met with Itachi, battled him because, well, he had the chance to, and yeah, also he did steal he stole the fake A, and that was revealed later. I really gotta start thinking about these plot points better. I'm sorry. But effective immediately, the war has begun. Naruto himself is made a commander of the support division, but he is all alone and uses his clones to make sure that everything is fine. On the first day of war, they get an overwhelming win, but as night falls, Zetsu's try to sneak into their bases to just gather some intel, but one will be caught by Sakura and the other by Hinata. And as this occurs, Naruto's clone would arrive. One of them would arrive. One of his many clones would arrive, and he sees Ninja welcome him, and Naruto would see Hinata holding down a creature, and she would say, "Quick, Naruto." Naruto would then shoot the Zetsu and shatter it as Hinata lets go, with Naruto then saying to wait as he would check if there are any more in the area. He would start to use the Rinnegan and its ocular abilities, and for the first time he had gotten them, he would catch a Zetsu with them, and he would hold his hand out as he calls for an almighty pull, and a certain ninja flies to him as he catches him by the neck. He would then envelop him with the chronosphere and reverse his time to show his true nature before then shattering. "He was with us the entire time? God!" The sphere would then fade as Naruto says that he'll go scout, and he flies into the air before then blasting off, just as Sakura runs out of a tent at that moment and says that she needs some help with someone, and she looked to see Naruto flying off. "No time for admiration," she said. Getting back into it, the ninja would then make sure that the hurt were taken care of, and the next day the attack begins again. As the war continues, Naruto clone is heading to the sand, and as he flies over, he finds Mu and Onoki facing off from the main battle there, and as they disintegrate many mountains, the two would then feel the presence of the sage and look to him when instantly Naruto would then appear before Mu, saying, "I'm sorry it took so long." "You're that warlock kid," said Onoki, just as Mu would then go to fire and attack, but he's then frozen in chronostasis, and he is time locked before Naruto then catches him. After doing so, he summons a scroll and from it release markings that attach to the Kage, and as such he comes under the control of Naruto, allowing Naruto to reverse the reanimation, and his soul starts to rise out of his body. "Is this the work of Orochimaru?" asked Onoki. "Yeah, he wrote down the jutsu just for me." Onoki then watches as the last Kage fades into the sky, and his soul returns to the afterlife before Naruto then blasts towards the main fight. And as he reaches it, he sees Gaara-san had captured all the Kage, and they were even marked with seals, but they automatically start to free themselves. "I can't stop it, Sasara." Gaara panics a bit, but then smiles, saying, "Don't worry, it's gonna be over very soon." The confused Kage then find themselves caught in chronostasis, with Naruto then appearing before them all, and the entire army would breathe a sigh of relief at his appearance. "I can't even move. Who are you?" asked Gengetsu. "Our friend is Gaara's over there." "Anyway, here you go." Using his scroll, he then attaches the marks to them as they begin to be allowed to rise back into the sky while their bodies just fade away, and Sarah would smile knowing that he had met a friend of Gaara's. "Goodbye, my son," he said. Gaara would then have a sorrowful look as he would watch his father leave, as a Tamari, with Naruto then saying, "So that was your pops?" "Yes, that was my father. Never thought that we would ever have a reconciliation." Naruto says that he's just happy that Gaara is happy. Let's put an end to this whole thing so he can finally have that drink. Gaara would then fly back to the army, saying that he would only do so when he became Hokage, and with the chuckle, the clone would then poof. The war continued, and it is again an overwhelming win for the shinobi. So as night falls, everyone prepares to reconvene, but the intel division picks something up. The chakra sensors will fluctuate with so much chakra that it explodes, causing Inoichi to bleed from his mouth, and Ao and Shikaku run to him as they take off the headset. "What the hell just happened?" asked Shikaku. Inoichi! The shinobi would then grab onto Shikaku's vest, saying, A monster arrived." These words would feel even more true when an overwhelming amount of chakra hits them all, and in the entire world actually, this chakra will be felt. And we go to the mountainous graveyard where we find Obito dead, and over his corpse stood an alien-like creature, and Otsutsuki. Momoshiki turns around as he washes his hand clean of Obito's blood with the release of water, and he then surveys the area he's in, and he is disgusted, but he didn't come here to just spectate. Behind him, he then saw the Ghetto statue and proceeded to absorb the spirits of the beast from it, as he then made it into a pill and ingested it, and this made him explode with power. If you're wondering how he has them, I'm gonna bullshit a little bit here. Madara just literally, when he died, the souls of the beast just went back to the Ghetto statue. I'm sorry, I don't want to explain how, okay? He needs to have the beast so I can at least give Naruto some trouble, alright? So he absorbed the spirit of the beast and he ingested it, and it just made him OP as he would grin from ear to ear. You can figure out how he got here, but I'll explain it later. And after he did so, he then turned and walked out of the cave and begins to fly. I can feel them. The rest of the beasts are present. That goddamn Kaguya can just do her job. Such a hassle. In an instant, he then disappears, and is seen piercing the air as he heads towards Naruto, who he has sensed the nearest to him, and his speed is so amazing that he reached the land of lightning, where Naruto just killed a bunch of Zetsus, when he then turns to see the creature. An explosion occurs as the force is then completely leveled. Everything is destroyed, and this is then blown away as Naruto and the alien would clash, and he would ask, "What the hell are you?" A human thinks he can ask me questions. How funny. He would then kick Naruto in the stomach as he coughs up blood right before he's then barraged with punches right and left, as Momoshiki is then about to axe kick him, and he then becomes frozen in chronostasis, and with anger in his eyes, Naruto stamps a punch through the sphere and sends him flying towards the sky. A neat little trick. I couldn't even move my chakra. Naruto then appears behind him as he enters sage mode, but as he releases a blast, Momoshiki then holds his hand out and his eye opens up and absorbs the power, which leaves Naruto shocked. Have a taste, said Momoshiki, as he would then rip through Naruto's stomach with his own attack, leaving the shinobi wide-eyed, but he would then quickly re-heal himself, much to Momoshiki's surprise, before Naruto then holds his hand out for chronostasis, but Momoshiki dodges and appears behind Naruto with a punch which he would avoid. How are you doing such a thing? It did not come from us, that's for sure, said Momoshiki. Like I asked the first time. What the hell are you? Asked Naruto. And I will end this part here. Welcome to the end of the fourth part. Truth be told, I had to actually re-record the entire first 8 parts because some weird stuff was going down with Premiere Pro. Deleted my entire voice over. I was pissed as hell. I don't know how I've managed to finish this, but I love this series, so I will do it for y'all. I hope you enjoyed it. I know bringing Momoshiki was kind of a risky move, but I had to do something to kind of challenge Naruto at the end. This isn't like the Tokoyami movie. I want to have a little bit of, I'm just going to destroy him, but like I want to make it more tense. I hope you enjoyed. Tell me down below what you think I could have done better. Obviously, I know how much I could have done better, but hey, there's the comments. Like, because you have another choice but to like, because there's no more dislike button. And I will see you guys in the next video. And I'll actually be coming out with a new series soon, so keep a lookout. The One Piece series, that thing's going to take way too long to finish, but just think of it as a side thing. I will finish it, but I'm going to think of it as a side what if until I finish it. And I'll just be doing it very slowly, but the parts will come in abundance in terms of plot, as much as I can. And yeah, I'll do my best. Yeah, peace. I'm gone.
Yeah, you better listen. I'm bringing heat. You'll be a fan when I start rapping. Way I'll have your fucking head spinning. I'm known as spit vicious. Release bombs and go tick tick. Boom, you blow me that head missing. I'm a phenomenon. Stacking cheese like it's Parmesan. 8 different flows, call me Octomom. I'm moving fast like the Autobahn, and I'm independent, so I'm not your fucking starving like it's.